Can you believe that in the last year, actually less than a year, I have learned the medicinal properties of more than 146 foods and herbs? How have I done this? Well, I'm going to show you in this video, but I'm also going to show you how you could win a copy of all this research that I've done. Are you ready? First, we're going to start by finding a plant. I have this plant growing in my garden, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I should pull it out or if I should use it. So let's start with this. So for the next part of my research, I need a piece of paper, and I'm going to start by just writing down the name of the plant that we're talking about, which is spotted lady's thumb. Next, I'm going to look on Google and see if I can find the scientific name. So I found that this plant is also called redshank, and it has a Latin name, which is Persicaria maculosa. Now, those are important because there are a lot of plants that have many, many names. And so if you go to look them up in a book, you have to know the Latin name or else you may miss info about a plant you really like. So I have two books that I always start with. Ancient Remedies by Josh Axe and Sam Thayer's Field Guide to Edible Wild Plants of Eastern and Central North America. These books, I find them to be very good, very helpful, and very specific. So I'm looking first in the book by Sam Thayer, and I am going to start by looking at under the names that we were talking about. So lady's thumb, and it is actually in here under that name, 584. And it does look exactly like what I have, which is a good starting point. So in this, I read that this common weed makes a good vegetable and is often abundant in urban and agricultural landscapes. And I find a lot of very specific identifying information about this plant. The leaves, the sheath, the flowers, the habitat. So that's really important. But while I've got the book open, I'm going to write the information that I found and where I found it. So now I have makes a good vegetable and FG, which is how I note that it's from the field guide. We're going to check in Ancient Remedies, but I don't think it's going to be in here because this doesn't have a ton of unusual herbs. But it's always good to check. Never know what you'll find. I don't see it under lady's thumb, so I'm going to look under its Latin name, which is Persicaria. So Persicaria. Okay, I don't see anything about it there. The next thing that I would normally do is I would go and I would verify that the herb that I think I found is correct. So I'll compare it to the description in the book. Let's go. Oh, but first we're going to put this paper in this binder, which, as you can see, is pretty darn full of different herbs and vegetables and what their properties are. So this is called lady's thumb or spotted lady's thumb, so we're just going to put it in under L for lady's thumb. We're going to toss that in here. We'll go check the herb, and then we'll go inside to keep researching. So I start by looking at the pictures and checking to see if there are any lookalikes listed. There are not. So I'm going to look at the flowers. It says that the leaves are 1 to 6 inches. Check. The flowers grow up to 2 inches. Check. And some of the leaves have a little thumbprint in the middle. And you can see very faintly that these have the thumbprint. So we've got the replant. Now let's go in and see if it has any medicinal benefits. Hello again. So I've had some time to do some research. Let me show you what I found. And don't forget, I'm going to be showing you how you can win a copy of all this research. So I plan to show you in my video how I did this research, but it was a little more complicated than I expected to get the camera angles going for that. So instead I'm going to tell you what I found and how I searched for it. So I started out by looking in my field guide by Sam Thayer, and I found out that lady's thumb is actually able to be eaten as a vegetable. Who knew? Then I looked in my Peterson's guide and I found a lot of info. This book generally tells you about the history of how an herb was used, but it may also tell you a little bit about the modern uses. So I learned that the Cherokee used the lady's thumb leaf tea for heart troubles, stomach ache, and a diuretic for kidney stones. The whole herb was poulticed for pain and rubbed on poison ivy rash. The leaf tea was used as a foot soak for rheumatic pain in legs and feet. And in Europe, the leaf tea was used for coughs, colds, inflammation, stomach ache, sore throat, wounds, faintness, and hemorrhage. And it's antifungal. So then I started looking up articles on Google Scholar, because I looked in my other books, I didn't find anything. So on Google Scholar, I found an article from 2020 that said lady's thumb was traditionally used in wound healing and it's antifungal. The boiled leaves were used to make pistic, which was an old Italian food. May look that up later, make a recipe. The ethanol plant extract had moderate activity against Staph A, and it has the dosage. And it was weak against Salmonella, enterica, Enteridis. And it had anti-virulence activity against P. aeruginosa, or something like that. I found another article from 2010 that said the methanol extract was a high inhibitor of A. niger, moderate of A. flavius, H. maydis, and A. sclani. Those are fungi. 1 second, I'm gonna let the cat in. In like 30 seconds, he's gonna be crying because he's in and he'll want out again. Anyway, then it had high activity against S. aureus, E. aerogenes, moderate activity against P. aeruginosa, and anti-insecticidal against T. castaneum, S. oryzae, R. dominica, and C. analis, or canalis. I'm not really sure if that is a C and then another word, or if it's all one word. Anyway, I guess I would care more when I needed that. So then I also looked, I did a Google search, and there's one place that I always look to find information about herbs, and that is a website called PFAF. It's Plants for a Future, and they give you a lot of historical information about herbs, and they always have their sources cited. Big plus for me. So on that site, I found that the leaves, seeds, shoots are edible raw or cooked, and the leaves are astringent and diuretic. I looked again on Google Scholar, and I found an article that said the aqueous extract is high in antioxidants, protective against hepatotoxicity. So it helps protect your liver against poisons. So Now, let's talk about how you can win a copy of all this research. I filed a lot of the papers that were hanging out, waiting to be filed. So now you can see the true width of this binder. So there's a cook-off happening right now to benefit a fellow YouTuber named Teresa, or Mama Owl, as we call her. Papa Owl has been sick. He has been in and out of the hospital with some very, very serious heart trouble. And that's cost them a lot of money traveling, a lot of money on hospital bills, and in addition, he can't work. You can't work with that level of heart trouble. There's no way for that to be possible. And it's messed horrifically with his blood pressure. So they've just really been having a rough time of it. And so Homestead Aquarius proposed a contest, a cook-off, to benefit the owls. And in order to raise money, the way he did it was for every $10 that you donate to Mama Owl, you are able to enter one recipe in this cook-off. And I decided to make my own contribution. And he had prizes that he's offering. So you can absolutely check out the details of that at his video, which is above. But what I'm doing is, in addition to the prizes that you might win from the general cook-off, I am adding my own little contest because I want to see the best recipes that you can make that feature a wild edible, an herb, or a veggie as the main part of your dish. Not just a little teaspoon of the herb or the vegetable in a recipe, but I want to see your recipes that have these things as the main part of your dish. Why vegetables, wild edibles, or herbs? I believe that eating healthy should be delicious. And I want to encourage YouTubers to put recipes featuring healthy foods on their channels. Basically, you're gonna follow all the rules of the cook-off. The best recipe that we receive will win a copy of my research. Now, for people that are in the US and Canada, you will get a physical copy. I will take this to the printers. I will make you a copy. I will send it in the mail to you. If you're in another country, we'll have to figure out something different, but you'll get a copy. If you're interested, go to Homestead Aquarius's channel, check out all the rules and the guidelines. I believe there's a deadline of September 15th. Get to cooking, get to filming. I can't wait to see the dishes that you produce. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and eat something wild and make a video for the contest to support Mama Owl. Love you all. Adios.